This episode of Shooting from the Lip is brought to you by the County Line, Louisville's last honky-tonk bar, located at 1891 Old Preston Highway in Hillview, Kentucky. Manager and bartender Chris Lucien invites you to check out live music every weekend, Friday and Saturday nights. Check out their Facebook page, The County Line. Mention Shooting from the Lip on Friday nights and get Jack Daniel's Honey for $3.
Shooting from the Lip features views and opinions from smart, funny, serious, and not so serious people. This show is intended for a mature and not so mature audience. Enjoy the show!
What is up, everyone? Kevin Hale up in the Shooting from the Lip studio. It is SFTL 184 live on this Monday night, August 22nd, 2016. Doing it with my partner in crime on several levels, Russ Hinkle. Russ, what's up, man?
What is up, Kevin?
Where you been?
Here, there, and everywhere. I went to Rocky's Italian Grill tonight across the river with the family and my mom and her fiance, and had some Italian food. And they had the impossible to find, always coveted Zombie Dust by Three Floyds, which is a certain style of beer that people travel long distances to get. And you can't, if a store gets it, they usually only get like one case, and they sell it like one bottle at a time, and people go nuts for it.
Interesting that you use the word zombie, because it will be one of our topics tonight. The second segment, we're going to have the owner of the Devil's Attic as the owner. He presents and does the Louisville Zombie Walk, which is coming up on August 27th. So that'll be a nice.
Given some of your other shows, I was thinking you were going to have somebody on talking about zombies that they had experienced or something.
Well, I mean, if you never know, Tiffany might pop in sometime tonight. So, and I'd leave that to her. First segment tonight, we'll be talking to Jessica Tyler, who is a DJ at Q 103.1, talking the local country music scene and everything that Q103 is involved with here in town. And we'll be doing some reality report, religious fanatics. And tonight's show is brought to you in part by the County Line, 1891 Old Preston Highway. We'll be promoting their weekend gigs a little later on the show. Social media, you can find our show on Twitter at The Shooting Lip, at Reality Russ, at Kevin Hale 423. You can like us and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Shooting from the Lip, live tonight via Blog Talk Radio. To get things started, Russ, I want to, obviously the Olympics has come and gone, and I can officially say that I did not watch a single minute. I did catch highlights, but as far as going to NBC or MSNBC, CNBC, whatever, I did not watch any. And I chose to not watch any. It does nothing for me.
I feel like you need the fallout. The fallout.
No, what were you going to say? No.
I feel like you need some articulation inspiration. So what I'm going to do is tell you what I'm in transit. Right now, I am in my car in transit to Walgreens because I forgot to get saline solution. I'm on the last pair of contacts. But that's not going to impede my ability to contribute to the show and absolutely give 110%, the auditory experience of our listeners. So I just wanted to get that out there, let you know, and give you some inspiration, hype you up a little bit. Come on, Kevin, you can do it.
I know. I need a little pep. It was kind of a long day today. I'm actually kind of tired, but and actually I'd be interested to see you go into Walgreens, pull this off. And are you going to talk while you're in Walgreens?
Oh, of course I'm going to talk. I got my Apple iPhone headphones in. Every time I'm doing this, I got my Apple iPhone headphones in. I'm sure we won't get any money from Apple for promoting, but they could send me another pair of headphones. I mean, what are they? I'm sure they pay like 39 cents to some child in Bangladesh to make these headphones, so it's not like they'd be out any money. Shipping probably is a little more expensive. But yeah, I'm going to get it done, Kevin. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to pick up some Pediasure. I'm going to pick up some saline solution, probably the Walgreens brand, so I can save 99 cents. And I'm going to get Mallory an eyeliner pencil. I have the actual old eyeliner pencil, so I can match it up and get that one, so I can be in and out, no problem, unless I get behind the lady that does her shopping at 10 o'clock on a Monday and has coupons, and then it's going to take a little bit longer.
A cart full of stuff, yeah. Actually, I don't even want to talk Olympics. More national news. Baton Rouge, they just got hit with some historic flooding. You know, they're actually coming off the racially charged shooting that involved the deaths of some police officers. That town, Baton Rouge, the state hit pretty hard. Of course, there's political angles involved here. Trump made his appearance, bringing in some 18-wheelers and donating some food, water, and Play-Doh. I don't know if you caught that. Play-Doh.
I did catch the Play-Doh, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe they had every color of Play-Doh except for orange, because that's what they make Donald Trump's hair out of.
And bomb. Of course, the conservatives, you know, the Trump party campaign, they took their shots at Obama. You know, why is he not responding? Because he's on vacation. Why isn't Hillary responding? She's at home. Then the governor of Louisiana spoke up and said that he had talked to Obama and asked the president not to come right now, wait at least a week, so that, you know, the resources that they would have had to lend to the president being in town, they wanted those resources, the first responders responding accordingly to this flood. And I posted some stuff on my Facebook, and for me, I think you're the same way. We tend to say and do things just to get the reaction. And I knew as soon as I'd post what I did about Trump that, the people would come out and, defend him and this and that. But, I think, you played the post the best with your quote about him being a con man.
Yeah.
And, really, right now we're what, 80 some days or something like that before the election. The truth is, I can't vote for either one. Can you vote? I know you're not a Trump, but can you vote for Hillary?
Probably not. The more I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it, because it's a pretty clear cut. It's pretty clear cut to me. Trump is a reality show con man. Hillary is an establishment politician. And moreover, the fact that neither party could provide an inspirational candidate, not even, I don't even need inspirational. Neither party could provide a candidate that you can't immediately find several things wrong with. So so neither party could provide anybody. I mean, if they would have ran Joe Biden, or if they would have ran, even the other Bush, Clyde Bush, or whatever his name is. I can't remember. Yeah. We'll stick with Clyde. But
Clyde.
Yeah, even if they'd have put him up, at least he would have been boring enough to be like, okay, this guy isn't a total complete. But with the candidates that we have, I feel like they both have enough baggage, and one of them is just an absolute hands down, no doubt about it, used car salesman. The system itself is what sucks so bad, and whoever owns and runs the Fed, which is not the government. I don't know why anybody ever talks about anything in politics other than the people who set the value of our money and interest rates are not even elected. They're not only are they not elected, they're not even part of the government. So it'd be like Walmart all of a sudden gets to decide how much our money's worth, and how much it costs to borrow money and all this stuff. And that's what the Fed is. Nobody ever talks about the Fed. The fact that that is a privately held institution that people, has a board that can, basically manipulate how much your money in your wallet is worth right this second is amazing. It's absolutely mind-boggling and baffling, and it makes the office of the president seem almost, minuscule compared to the fact that they can tell you how much your money's worth. They can say, okay, today your money's worth, you can, for $5, you can buy a loaf of bread and a pack of gum. Tomorrow, a loaf of bread and a pack of gum could be $8 if they wanted it to.
Mm-hmm.
They could certainly set the inflation, do all that stuff. So that's what blows my mind.
Here's another thing that's going to blow your mind, and let's talk this in 60 seconds or less, as our first guest is on hold, because I always like to push your religious buttons or anti-religious button. With the flooding that happened in Louisiana, the president of the anti-gay religious lobbying group, Family Research Council, he had made there's a quote from him in the past where he claimed that natural disasters are God's way of punishing an increasingly gay-friendly world. Well, guess whose house got damaged by the flooding in Louisiana?
His house.
Touche. His house. So, yeah.
Well, we all know that conservative family values guys that are way outspoken and have climbed to some level of stature, it's about 50-50 on whether they have their own latent homosexual, feelings. So he could very well be right. God may be punishing him because he likes dudes real bad. He probably, he probably goes through the motions. He hates himself for liking dudes, but he probably likes dudes.
It probably may be. If he really bought into what he said, then touche, right? Anyways,
yeah. Well,
that's enough. That's enough to wet your whistle right now, Russ. We'll finish the reality report, your reality report, a little later. Without further ado, I want to bring on Jessica Tyler. She's a DJ at Q103.1 here in Louisville. Jessica, JT, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Got Russ with me tonight.
Russ is on a rant. I like it.
Absolutely. We got a professional DJ in here, Kevin. We're gonna have to really step our game up to be impressive now. From the max of the stacks, it's the best on wax. Let's go, Kevin.
Jessica, you doing the local DJ thing? You do the mornings, right? You're part of a morning show.
Yeah, I do the mornings, and I'm the music director for Q. Yeah.
Ooh. And
yes, I've got a fancy title.
Yeah, it is. And you're at the county line on some Friday nights, right? Or all Friday nights?
Yeah, for this next month coming up, I won't be there, but after that, it starts back up again every Friday night from 8 to 10 p.m.
Now, what is that? What is the Friday night thing at the county line? There's y'all name. It's a name, right? How do y'all call that?
It's just the next New Country Live, just promoting live and local music, being able to get out there and get some people to come on out and hear some new bands that are out there.
All right. Now, tell us how long have you been part of Q103?
I've been here it'll be 3 years. I came from the Northeast, so it was definitely culture shock.
I don't detect the Northeastern accent, though.
I'm from Western Mass originally. I was in Providence for 5 years, and I just think when you work in radio for a long time, you kind of naturally get rid of that. I did news when I very first started out, too, so it was kind of one of those things where you have to get rid of it.
You can't go around Louisville ordering burgers and saying you're from Worcester, Mass, and being a masshole around here.
Yeah, well, exactly. I still do. I said wicked a lot when I first got here, which I stopped quickly. And then I'll sometimes ask if anybody wants to get grinders, and no one has any idea what I'm talking about. So that's pretty funny.
Well, isn't that an app right now? Isn't that a phone app? that I'm not familiar with.
That's a different grinder. I'm talking a sandwich.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler. That's my only experience with grinders. Adam Sandler on one of his musical soundtracks. Hoagies and grinders, navy beans, navy beans.
Russ, you are definitely holding, doing it for us tonight. I was telling Russ that I was like tired and laid back or a little too relaxed tonight, and Russ, you're stepping it up. I appreciate that, brother.
Well, I got excited. I walked in. Walgreens was closed. CVS was closed. I had to go to Kroger. Kroger has a big 10 for 10 out on my favorite unsweet pure leaf tea, and I'm stocking the fuck up right now.
Wait a minute. I thought like Walgreens were in CVS. What is that? I thought those were 24-hour. Never mind. Let's.
It's kind of a selective thing.
Yeah, Jessica, tell us what's your take on the with the Friday night thing at the county line. What is your take with the local music scene here?
There's actually quite a few bands here that are doing really well. It's really a good area for local music. There's a lot of places that get a lot of people in. So I think the variety is really, really good. And there's a number of them that I think, really have a shot and are doing well. I think trying to go the record route is not necessarily the way to go anymore. And I think a lot of them are kind of getting that now.
Well, I think, did you look at my notes here? Because that was one of the things I wanted to talk about is when it comes to, acts, artists, groups right now, what is the direction? Where do they need to go? Because to your point, I don't think it is the record thing. It's, everything is so online
Yeah, the record company, to get a record deal used to be kind of like the end all be all. Like if you got that, you kind of felt like you made it. And I just actually sat down with a local band a couple weeks ago because they were kind of asking, what do you think would the next step be? And I don't think it is trying to go get a deal. There's a million bands trying to do that. I know we're close to Nashville, which is great, but you could be the best band here and you're one of, 1,000 in Nashville that are trying to do the same thing. I really think what you need to do is there's a couple of different things. One, find somebody that can do some marketing for you. Get your social media going. Create a buzz with that. Send out target ads to, say somebody's typing in that they want to go see country on a Friday night somewhere, that you're going to pop up first. Make sure that you've got somebody that if you're targeting, say, a Jake Owen or a Billy Currington or whatever you think your music kind of sounds similar to or the same style, that an ad for where you're playing locally is going to pop up. And I think just really, really building that is your first step in getting more people to follow, more people to like. And there's a lot of artists out there now that ended up with a record deal because they just built that social media following so much. The other thing is just realize you're going to be broke for a while and get a van, and you're going to have to start touring, and not just in Louisville. You're going to have to find somebody that can help book you shows. And if you're going to Indy one day, you're going to Cincy, I don't even think Nashville is necessarily the best place to play, but anywhere 5-6 hours window around, prepare yourself that you're going to do that, and then just start building it up that way. Think people want to get that deal.
How about the Justin Bieber path? The Justin Bieber path, where you just, you get a viral video and then you get discovered by Ellen or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all part of social media. I don't think there's such a thing as Insta fame, which is what all the kids think they're going to get now. But that has happened with there's two different people I'll use as examples. One is Kane Brown, who is kind of new. He has a record deal now, but he did that exact thing. He started out posting videos, got noticed from that, and he's doing really well now. He just released his second single to radio. And then on the other side of that, you've got somebody like Granger Smith, who created another identity for himself, Earl Dibbles Jr., which got people talking on social media. I think also people think these people, though, have been doing this for a year. Granger's been doing this for 10 years, where he was touring everywhere, building up that social media following, building up that alter ego, and then that finally led to a deal. Most of the time now when when record labels are looking at somebody, they're looking to see what's your social media following, where have you played, how many people are coming to see you when you go out. So that's part of the package. They want that already developed before they sign you.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to playing in the regional area, what are some of the hot spots regionally for bands to have to, or can go or should go?
I mean, Baxter's 942 has been great. We do a Queued Up series there where we bring in national acts, but the owners there have, they work with a booking agent and they get some really, really good talent in there. They're also really good to the bands that they have in there. One of the biggest things is when you're going to a venue to figure out where you want to play, make sure the sound is good. They've got Rob, I think you know who Rob is, right?
Baker.
Rob Baker. Great at sound. Yeah. So when you're in there, you know that the sound is going to be good because there's nothing worse than going in, even if the band is decent and the sound is horrible. Right. They're really good about making sure they've got great sound all the time. They're really good about spacing out when they have you in there to make sure that you've got the best possible following, and it's not you're there every 2 weeks, but it's not so long that people have forgotten about you. County Line has had some good people up there. They've had some people from out of town and from local people. I've gone to a few shows with headliners that I thought were pretty good. They tend to do more rock than country, though. I just saw Anderson East there, which was a really, really good show. So, I mean, there are quite a few places around, but I would say make sure that the sound is really good and make sure it's somebody that's invested in music.
Mm-hmm.
More importantly, how does someone become a DJ for a major radio station? I think that would be more important for me and Kevin.
I mean, the radio is just a tough business because you got to be willing to move around the country. Usually it's different than it was. Like, I've been doing this for 20 years. When I started, I went into a station. I had gone to college for communications, but I started doing part-time news and then went in and actually wrote news broadcasts for radio, went and covered town meetings, and did that. Then I would stay an intern. After I got done with what I was doing, I would stay and hang out with the morning show, go get them coffee, and just kind of learn everything that they were doing. And then you kind of move from station to station. I think, your first badge of honor is when you get fired. Everyone gets fired from a station, been fired from somewhere, but you kind of just move up in market size. Radio stations there's different market sizes, and the bigger the city, the bigger the market. So it's not an easy thing. You got to be willing to pack up and move across the country many, many times.
So you can't just show up and act like a fool straight off the dome piece and get an audition. that don't work out?
It usually doesn't work that way, no. And it's funny because most people think that you go in and you're on the air for 4 hours and then you leave and there's nothing else to it. But there's a lot of prep that goes into coming up with different topics and things and everything having to do with the show. But then most people have an outside job besides just their on air, like whether it be imaging, we all have to voice commercials, do production. I do all the music for the station. So there's a lot of other things that happen once we get off the air.
Well,
I'll
again,
stay around and sweep up.
What'd you say?
I said, I'll stay around and sweep up. I mean, guys like Kevin do all the preparation. I'll do
perfect.
something.
Yeah, well, which
Anytime.
Is what I'm interested in knowing. Jessica, tell us what would be a typical day for you.
It's interesting because every day is different as far as who I'm going to have in town. Normally it's getting up at 4 a.m, going into the station for 5. I start on air at 5:30, so I'm on the air from 5:30 to 10. So I do a show with Dingo, who is brand new. He just started there about 4 months ago. So we'll have different topics every day. We'll have callers that call in, different things to give away. When I get off the air at 10, I'll usually have commercials that I have to do. Like the commercial that you hear for the County Line every week is me voicing that commercial. So I'll have to go record different commercials like that, see if there's any other production that I have to do. And then every day I do the music log. So I'm picking out all the songs for the next day. which is not just randomly picking them out. They're all different rotations. They're in different categories. Some songs play many more times a day than others do. So it's figuring out which songs to play more, which songs need to be converted. And then I talk to all the record people from Nashville. And what they do is they'll call up, say they have, say it's Sony, and they have Miranda Lambert and Jake Owen and Old Dominion on their label. So they'll call and ask us to play a song if there's a new song coming out, or if we're playing one of their songs, they'll call to ask us to play it more. So I talk to people from different labels to find out what they've got going on. I look at research for songs, how it's researching with the audience. Do they want to hear more of it? Do they want to hear less of it? Look at all that stuff. And then I'll usually go home around 12 or 1, depending on how busy it's been that day. And then most times I'll have an artist or a record person coming up for dinner to have us meet brand new artists or to talk about what's going on with their company. And sometimes we'll have shows at night. So if there's a show at night, then I've got to go back out for the show and make sure I'm there to talk to listeners, make sure the artist is all set, and take care of anything that they need. So it's really different every day depending on what we have going on.
Right. Well,
and naps somewhere in there.
And say it again. And what?
And naps sometimes in there wherever I
can.
And
nap, yeah, nap. Napping. That is definitely important. How much influence right now, with the fact that you guys are a country station, and to me, Nashville is, is still home of the whole country empire, is in my perception or understanding. How much influence does resources or labels outside of Louisville factor into your routine? I mean, are you all really kind of taking the lead from these labels, or are you all able to actually step up and do your own thing?
Well, I think we definitely make our own decisions in the building. There's a number of people that go into that decision. There are other radio groups like Cumulus or Clear Channel where they'll have almost a playlist that they have to play. These are the songs you're going to add this week. These are the songs you're going to play. We don't have that. We don't have to worry about that. I still do look at the chart, though, and see what stations are on what songs. I still look at research. We do something called Call Out every 2 weeks, where it's research on which songs people like, which ones they don't, how passionate they are about something, and that'll change. So there's definitely influence as far as we've only got so many slots on the radio station. So if Kenny Chesney has a new single and then a brand new artist has a new single, Kenny's going to get the shot first, just based on his track record and his history with the station and what listeners want to hear. So one of the hardest things about the job is that a lot of the local bands that are from here are like, well, why can't we get played on the station here? And it just doesn't work that way. Even though you're from here, you're still competing with the new Dierks Bentley. You're still competing with the new Tim McGraw, and the majority of listeners want to hear that song. And there's only so many slots where you can put things. So that part's difficult. It'd be nice to be able to do that, but you just can't do it.
I feel like pretty much every radio station is just going to play Taylor Swift pretty soon. Anyway, it'll be just nothing but Taylor Swift.
Well, not since she went over to pop. I think we play one song from her now.
I was going to say, how much do you don't have to rely on Taylor anymore, do you?
What's interesting about that, though, is even though Taylor's probably the biggest star on the planet right now, her music never got played a ton in country. It got played because it was Taylor, but she never tested well for some reason. I think the misconception is if it's a huge star, we're going to be playing the song a lot, or it tests really well. The latest Garth stuff didn't test at all. I think People Loving People was something that he had out recently, but the old Garth people still want to hear and love.
Right.
So
Right.
that doesn't really correspond, even though you think it would. It would.
Well, and
What?
well, hold on, Russ. I want to, as far as your demographic, Jessica, what is the right now you would consider your primary audience?
I mean, it would be people 25 to 54 is the audience that we go after. We have a lot of 1834 numbers for 1834, 1849. We beat the Heritage Station in the market with those younger numbers. Cool. But 2554 is mainly the target. But we also have Hawk 1039, which is in the building, which is kind of what they call true country, but it's basically country from like 1990 to now without like the bro country sound in there for people that don't want to hear that don't want to hear Florida Georgia Line. They want to hear, good Kenny. So you kind of have both options.
Yeah, they, Russ, that might be where you would hear, what's the band that does the gin and juice rendition that you karaoke very well? That might be, yeah, that's where you might hear. You want to,
There's a lot of drama.
Say it, keep going.
Lot of drama in the LBC. So much drama in the LBC. It's kind of hard being Snoop D-O-double-G, but somehow, some way.
What's funny about that is that Snoop Dogg just recently ran into Sam Hunt at Coachella and wants him to record one of his songs.
Oh, wow.
So Snoop Dogg, a fan of Sam Hunt.
Yeah.
Well, we all know that back in the late 80s that video killed the radio star. What is the future? But the radio star, resurrected itself. With Sirius XM and podcasts on the internet and all of this stuff, what is the future of radio? Is it destined to end up like print news and basically start falling apart? Or has it already weathered the storm and does it have a future or a bright future?
Good question.
I mean, I think it has a bright future. The bottom line is I know kids are listening to their iPods and they're listening to everything, and adults are too, but in the car, the number one thing you're still going to listen to is the radio. And I don't think that that's going to go away. I think, when you're in an office and everybody's got to agree on something, they're going to have a radio on. They're not going to have an iPod coming through the speakers. When you get in your car, the first thing you do is put the radio on. I just don't see that going away. I think it's definitely a different business, but I don't think it'll go away.
Well, but as technology advances, and like my little girl's 5, she she has her iPad in the car. She'll use mom or dad's phone. As that generation gets a little bit older, are they going to have what they want so readily available that waiting for something like my little girl used to love? Oh crap! I'll think of it in a second. Anyway, there was a certain song that my little girl loved all the time, and "Baby, You're a Song," make me want to roll your windows down. I would sing that to her. I even learned the Nelly version just because she liked it so much. And she said,
"Cruise
Daddy,
from Florida Georgia Line."
Yeah, Florida Georgia Line cruise. And she said, "Daddy, put on Baby, I'm a Song," and or "Baby, You're a Song." And I was like, "Honey, it don't work that way. I can't just put it on." She goes, "Well, play it on your phone then." And I'm like, I'm driving, so I'm like, it's not even going to sound good because it's going to be coming out of this tiny little speaker. So she wants to jam out. Technology advance. I mean, I just don't have like one of those double male-ended jacks in my car, so I can plug my phone into the radio and play it.
Right.
My cars, can do that. But I just, I hope it has a bright future. I'm 42, so I grew up on, the radio, but it just seems to me that much like the Courier, I haven't seen a copy of the Courier Journal in a fortnight. I don't know. It's been hell and ever since I've held a old dry gray newspaper in my hands. But I just worry that regular. And plus another thing is I don't even have, like Kevin was talking about the Olympics earlier, I don't even have cable in my house. I have Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hulu, and then whatever other little ones pop up. I'm just wondering. It just seems, and we don't have a home phone. We have our cell phones, and that's pretty much, internet, Skype, and all this stuff. I'm just wondering if radio is one of those mediums, like the newspapers, like home telephones, like local, cable, for a lot of people, where it's just kind of going to phase out eventually, or if will it evolve and change into something else?
Yeah, I totally get that, and I hopefully it's the latter. I think the other really great thing about radio is, yeah, you can go on and get news 24/7, and you can go on to TMZ, and you can go on to any of the country websites and find out the same information. But hopefully, especially because we're local, we're giving you our opinions on it. We're giving you something you're not getting somewhere else. We're giving you something entertaining, I hope. And also, what we try to do is become part of the community, become kind of friends with the people that are listening, so we can give back and we can do a lot of different things with that platform. Also, when you're listening to like the big radio stations where they do these big group contests, your chances of winning are tiny. We're giving you a chance to get experiences that you're not going to get just by listening to your iPod or listening to that. You're getting a chance to go backstage and meet one of your favorite artists, or go karting with Lee Bryce, or an experience that you wouldn't get anywhere else. And hopefully when you're listening, you're hearing people's takes on it that you think are funny and interesting, and that aren't just card readers, that are actually delivering a show to you. So hopefully that's why radio won't go anywhere.
Is there a chance that the company like iHeartRadio will make some of the content more ubiquitous? For instance, I just went to the Madison, Indiana Riverfest, and as I was driving up 71, through the backside, going through, kind of like Bedford, Kentucky, or Carrollton, Kentucky, to get over there, I was actually listening to the radio, and my station started to fade, and then I, all of a sudden, heard not even something cool. It was like some dude banging a spoon on a bucket, talking about some kind of nonsense, and I was like, man, this is really terrible. There are no radio stations in this in this area that I want to hear anything that they have to say. So yeah, is there a possibility that they could make it a little more universal, kind of like satellite radio, so that you can drive more than 40 miles in one direction and keep your station going?
I mean, Clear Channel has taken over a lot of different stations, but I think that wherever you go, you're going to find bad DJs probably that are doing something dumb that you don't like. You're probably also driving through an area where it's probably a fairly small market. So you're talking probably about a 22-year-old kid that's making $20,000 a year, and they just let him have his own radio show. The bigger market that you get into, I mean, you're going to get better radio.
The spoon on the bucket thing, that was actually one of the songs, I think. That was just me. Yeah. The style of music was a spoon on a bucket, talking about, not even like, don't get me wrong, my wife's from Eastern Kentucky, and I love going through Eastern Kentucky and hearing some like twangy bluegrass music. I mean, I find it, like Stewie on Family Guy said, I find it intoxicating. But it's really, I just, sometimes you just get, somebody telling you, preaching hellfire and brimstone on 3 stations, and I'm like, really? Come on, man. I'm not trying to hear, Old Testament nonsense right now.
Well, the best part about radio is you've got the seek button. You can just move to the next one.
Exactly. All right. Speaking of moving to the next one, as we round third and head for home here with Jessica, this is what we call our round of shots. It's 6 questions. It's like a quick Q&A just to get to know you a little better, Jessica.
I'm scared.
Nothing real personal, I don't think. But let's see. First concert you attended?
Bryan Adams.
Did it cut like a knife?
I still love him. And what's really sad is that I had posters of him on my bedroom wall, and I look back at him now and I'm like, what was I thinking?
But it felt so right?
Right, straight from the heart. It's that raspy voice. I never got over that.
It is, yeah. I'm an 80s guy. So, all right. Number 2, if you had a superpower, what would it be?
Oh, I think it would be to be invisible, so I could hear everybody's conversations and see what they were doing.
I like that.
And maybe
on
hang
your
out in Keith Urban's dressing room, maybe.
Wait a minute, Kevin. I was on mute
forgot.
there. I feel like,
What was that, bro?
we have to say, I said I was on mute there for a second. We have to say that
Okay.
I'm not saying our guest tonight, but most people who want invisibility as a power are just got a toe in the pervert pool because they're going to do some bad things with that.
Well, if you caught what she said that she would want to be around Keith Urban. And there's a story to that because she made it clear on her Facebook page that she is into Mr. Urban, which I don't. He's a good looking guy. So he is. All right, settle down, Jessica. What was the last picture you took with your phone? Be honest.
My homemade meatballs. I made homemade meatballs. My mom was
I saw that. You posted
and
that today.
They look good, right?
They did. Yummy. What's your favorite phone app?
This is going to sound so nerdy and boring, but I love the Scrabble app because I like to play Scrabble against the computer. And the only reason why I'm playing that is because Words with Friends went away, and I loved it. I've disappointed
right
you,
there.
I'm sorry.
You proved to us that you are a chick, so it's okay. It's all right.
Sorry.
All right. Number 5.
That's better. That's better than the normal way Kevin makes chicks prove it.
Is it better to ask permission or beg for forgiveness?
Oh, beg forgiveness, definitely.
Mm. Yeah.
That way
our
they can't
MO,
tell you
Russ,
no.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
See, yes. And who likes the word no?
No, exactly.
Exactly.
I heard a quote in college. It said that men are as good as they have to be, and women are as bad as they dare to be.
All right, last one for you, Jessica. If you had access to a time machine, you could go anywhere in the past, your living past or pre-birth, where would you go?
Well, this is going to be a sad answer, but I would say I would go back 25 years because my dad died 24 years ago and my mom just died 3 years ago. So I would spend time with them.
Very good. Family, that's kudos when you do something not so selfish. And
yeah.
There you go. All right, Jessica, share with us where people can connect with you on social media.
They can go to Facebook under Jessica Tyler. You can follow all of my Keith Urban stalking photos there. They're all up there. You can also go to went to Grand Ole Opry on Tuesday, and I literally stalked, and it was embarrassing.
I know.
Or you can go to Q103's webpage.
Mm-hmm. And on some Friday nights, you can go out to
at County Line. Yeah, starting in September again. I'll be there 8 to 10 at County Line, or you can go to Instagram. It's Jess_Q103_. That's my Instagram.
Cool. All right, Jessica, came on and killed it. Thanks for hanging out with me and Russ. Good stuff. Appreciate
no problem.
Your time.
Anytime. I'm scared to leave you alone with Russ. You gonna be okay?
I will.
When I've never really been on. I got an Instagram account, but it's kind of like my Twitter account. I don't get on it, but for some reason when she said Instagram, I thought Instagram, Daniel. Is that a thing? Can we make that a meme or a video?
I mean, you
go
can
for
try.
it, buddy.
We can ride the coattails,
All right, JT, thanks for hanging out with the boys tonight. Take care.
No problem. Anytime.
Yeah, we'll see you soon, babe.
All right. Bye-bye.
Jessica Tyler, morning DJ at Q103.1 here in the Ville. You and I have the face for radio, Russ, right?
Instagram, Daniel.
I'm turning on his mic. This segment, Russ, I'm looking forward to because this is one of these segments where it's a little different to me, but it's so cool. I got Jason Besemann, right? Jason, I said that right? Besemann.
Yes, sir.
He is the owner of the Devil's Attic, which right there, the name alone sounds, devilish, evil.
I'm down.
Yeah. And he also runs the Louisville Zombie Walk. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Tell us, what is up with you, and how long have you been involved? We'll start with the Devil's Attic. Start with that. How long you been doing that?
So the Devil's Attic, we're on our 7th season. So we began 7 years ago in a humble shopping mall, and kind of took it to the next level in the second year and purchased a 15,000 square foot warehouse. It was built in 1914, so in itself it's kind of creepy being that old. And from then on, we've just built our show every year, made it bigger and better, and in the last couple of years, it's become the most award-winning haunted attraction in Kentucky. And we're closing in on the region. We've got some national recognition as being one of the top 50 haunts in the United States as well. So we just keep plugging away and trying to make the show bigger and better every year.
How much preparation do you have to do for the upcoming, I'm assuming your season is very short in the Halloween, kind of range there. How much preparation do you have to do to have that place ready for your little sweet spot of business?
We actually begin in March. We kind of take November and December, January and February off at the haunted attraction itself, mainly because of the weather, because there's no heat or air conditioning down there, so it's pretty cold. But once we come back we go to a large haunted attraction show in St. Louis. It's the largest one in the United States. We kind of get our feel there, what we're going to do, and then we come back and we kind of go to work on building new scenes and revamping old scenes, and just working on everything in general, from costuming, light design. We put a lot of time and effort into that, as well as what new characters we're going to bring in or add to the existing attraction, and work on the dialogue and what we call in the industry the type of scare we're going to provide for our new patrons coming through the next season. So it's a work in progress. The ideas start typically before the season ends. Those kind of stew for a couple months, and then we put them to start bringing them to life in March.
As a major haunt attraction, do you feel like you should put an age restriction on it? I'm not talking about the little kids. We can scare them. They're going to stay alive. I'm talking about the 38-year-old guy with a bad heart. You see this guy coming in. He's got a pacemaker. I mean, do you feel like it's your responsibility to say, no, I'm sorry, Gramps, this isn't for you?
Well, we go through great lengths as far as putting up disclosures. When you enter the attraction, enter at your own risk. If you do have a heart problem, any of those types of things, we definitely, warrant that, hey, you're entering at your own risk, and hopefully you're not going to leave an EMS, which we've had happen several times. But,
for real?
As far as, oh, sure, man. Yeah. We get people in there that have what we call code blacks, which are basically they're passed out in the corner, or they won't move. They'll be curled up in a little ball, and we have to carry them out. And then we have code browns, which, they basically take a big crap on themselves and they have to clean it up. And then we have code yellows, which, is always the other way around too. So that's not as bad as code brown.
Which brings me to my next question.
You're serious, Jason. You are serious.
Oh, I'm dead serious. I mean, it's a huge motivation for the actors. I mean, they love this stuff. I mean, I love this stuff. I usually dress up 2 weeks in and get in on the action when things kind of settle down. I mean, that's a huge accolade for an actor to say, "Hey, man, I guess
that's the ultimate. That's the ultimate compliment, right?
Yeah.
That's your.
Yeah.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
You can literally scare the shit out of somebody. I don't know if I can say that, but I did.
You can.
Then you know you're doing your job good. So.
What that leads me straight into my next question, which was, do you have someone on site? And I'm not even stealing it off what you said. My next question was, do you have a underwear vendor on site in case somebody needs it?
No.
Oh, Russ.
They actually sell them. They sell it. Says, hey, I got the shit scared out of me at XYZ haunted attraction. But No, we don't do that. We probably should provide them. That's for sure. That or Depends one.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
You need
Adult
to
diapers.
tap into that. Yes. That or...
Yeah. That's another marketing.
Yeah, that I guess that would be your gauge. That would be the you're doing it for the reaction. So obviously, probably the more obviously the screaming is one way, but to put for someone to be in tears, or I guess wouldn't be I mean, honestly, if someone just happened to you have to get the defibrillator out, that would be like the ultimate, right? We got to jump. We got to jumpstart this guy.
Yeah, Or you get the pooper scooper out, the shovel, and we keep a nice bucket of kitty litter around just in case, and buckets for puke and whatever else, we got to clean up stuff.
Actually, Jason's attorney just texted me and said, no, they do not want anybody to have to be defibrillated because that's going to really kill the liability insurance.
It will, but it's pretty damn good marketing.
Yeah, it is. Now, obviously, and you probably said, if you said it, I missed it. There's waivers. Do people have to sign off on something, or is it just it's already understood? It's each store you enter. There's a big liability poster there. You're entering at your own risk. And for that, we discourage, kids under 12, unless they're, accompanied by an adult, because a lot of them can't handle it. But adults do. They bring their kids with them anyways. So, that's their responsibility. So. And of course, be honest, there's probably, people working these events, there's probably that one customer, that one patron, whether it's this little smart ass kid that you just want to make sure that he is going to have bad dreams for the next month, or some older adult that just comes in cocky and something. Those are the ones you just want to leave an impression.
Oh yeah, those are definitely good. And we have ways of finding out people's names and radios, and we can communicate it to the monsters, and that definitely takes it up a whole nother level.
The monsters are wearing earphones, Russ.
Kevin, if somebody knew Kevin's name, he would swear that it was like a poltergeist or something.
Yeah. Well, we've had some.
There's a joke.
We've had some interesting things happen in the old building, so
Really?
Some funky creaks. Oh yeah, doors closing on themselves. Different things.
See,
But,
wait, let me get. See, that's called paranormal, Russ. You can't even say the word, can you?
That's what I was going to say. If you do get, a real ghost, do you feel like you owe them double scale? I mean, you got to pay them more because they're the real deal, or how does that work? They can't. You really use paper money? I mean, is there some kind of protoplasm you can hook them up? I mean, what's going on?
It's a negotiation we have with them. We let them hang out there and stay there, so they have a nice home. And then in return, they do us a favor and do a job for everybody there.
They're probably just accidents. They're probably standing around saying, "Look at these hacks," and they just accidentally knock something over. Is probably what's going on. That's my guess anyway.
Yeah.
No.
Very much so.
Bad guess, Russ. August 27th at 8:29 p.m. Jason, why 8:29? Tell us, first of all, what is this date, and what's the event, the date, which I've given you, and the time, which I didn't research enough to figure out why 8:29. Is that when the sun goes down? What is that? I don't...
8:29, 8:27. Obviously, you're speaking of the world's largest and oldest running zombie walk, which is the Zombie Walk in Louisville. 8:29 is our go time. So that's when our character from the Devil's Attic will be sounding and unleashing all of the zombies on Bardstown Road for a 3/4 of a mile walk down to Highland Avenue, which is where our party zone will be. It's a block that is blocked off where we have live bands and entertainment and activities, costume contests, music, have a lot of live bands. It's just a hell of a time. A lot of the haunted houses there. We have 3 other haunted houses that join us. So we try to create a whole theatrical ambience experience for everyone for the zombie walk.
And this coming event will be, what number would this be?
This will be number 12. However, we've taken formerly the Zombie Attack, which is a similar event, and is now called the Zombie Walk. So this is what we're associated with, and what we kind of carried the torch further with, keeping it going. But it's on number 12 this year. So.
Wow. Russ, have you done those? Have you ever been
to the haunted to the Devil's Attic?
The walk, zombie walk.
Oh, the zombie walk. Oh, you know what? I've not been like a part of the whole thing, but I've definitely been down with my friend Larry, who lives in the Highlands. He always liked to get me to come down and kind of people watch, because he said, the girls tend to slut it up a little bit when they turn into zombies. So he likes to go down there and, watch all the young ladies parade their little zombie outfit.
Well, we do have a haunted category zombie. Yeah, that's for sure.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I guess you just confirmed that there is some accuracy to that. There is some chicks who like to take it a whole new level and get rewarded for it.
They do. I mean, with 35,000 people down there, you're going to get a little bit of everything. So
you figure if they're going to be. Oh, if they're going to be true, if they're going to be true to the real zombies, you'd have at least one pair of bare boobies flopping around,
I'm sure those will be down there somewhere. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, and that's my next question is that what is the, anticipated amount of people that will, be part of? I mean, like, the audience. And you're saying it's going to be in excess of 30,000 people.
That's just total. That's including the, everybody, spectators, zombies. They got zombie hunters that will show up there too. We're probably looking close to 40,000 this year. Partly because we've, I've taken the event and changed the date to be on a Saturday from here on out. So it'll fall on the last Saturday of every August. So with that weekend, with it being on the weekend, we're hoping to push 40,000 this year.
Kevin, you mentioned NXS. I don't think NXS has played in front of 30,000 people in some time.
The devil inside, man. Yeah, not lately, but back in the day.
One of the
devil inside. Yeah.
You're just gonna kill that one and take it seriously. I see how you are.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I got you. It's a whole 80s, 90s thing. Anyway, now, Jay, you mentioned. Tell us, with the evening, with the night, you've got bands and stuff. What are the type of, besides music, what are type of either contests or events that people will encounter during this night?
So once everybody kind of makes it down to the party zone, like I said, it starts at 8:29. And usually by the time everybody makes it down there, it's about 9 or 10 o'clock. We've got 3 bands playing. So Rockabilly Style Vice Tricks will be playing. The Newly Deads, which is a zombie-based band, kind of a rock band, and then Dead Room Cult, which is a little more edgy sound to it. They'll be playing on one stage. We have a second stage set up. We're going to have Shaun of the Dead, he likes to take staple guns and nails and drive them places that make even the most brave of souls squeamish. So kind of a freak style show. We'll also have the Terpsichore dance folks down there doing the traditional thriller zombie dance ensemble, and then we'll finish it off with Louisville Halloween is heading up the costume contest, and we'll have about 5 or 6 categories where folks have pre-registered either before the event or at the event for that. So we'll have quite a bit of stuff going on there in addition to the other haunted attractions. Myself, the Devil's Attic, and we have Asylum Haunts, 7th Street Haunt, and Grim Trails. We'll all have different various monsters there kind of roaming around. And then we also have added food vendors to the event this year. So you don't have to stumble very far after hitting the bars to grab some grub. So that we tried to make that convenient for folks.
Wow.
I got a request for next year. Have you ever heard of the band Here Come the Mummies?
Oh yeah, they're awesome, man. Bob and Tom, love them.
Though that band, I saw them on a I was living in Indianapolis back in 2007, and I was out at some kind of Halloween thing in Broad Ripple, and I just happened to be to go into the place where they were playing, and they blew my mind. You'd think a bunch of guys in gimmicky mummy costumes wouldn't be some just amazing 10-piece band, but they were an amazing 10-piece band.
Oh yeah, I've heard them many times. They're awesome. They're they're all the big horns and the full set is they're great, incredible. That may be down the line because those guys are definitely probably not within our budget right now. So.
Oh, I got
you. I'm looking at the LouisvilleZombieWalk.com website. Derby City Roller Girls, they're kind of getting things going for you. Tell us about that.
Yeah, you can't forget them. Yeah, so those girls are going to be leading the march at the beginning point, where once again the devil will be kind of sounding the air raid horn. Actually, one of his minions is going to be doing it for him, because the devil he has minions to do everything for him. But they're going to be taking off all zombie fired up, rolling down the street, man. So, that'll be a spectacle there, and to get things launched.
See, he's right, Russ. I do have my minions doing everything for me, Russ.
You know the same line? Oh, see, I was claiming to be one of the minions. You claim to be the devil, much like what
I am well, you know what? That's a good point because lay it out for you from there, right?
Yeah, you're the leader. I'm the follower. I get.
You get that. Yeah, that's being the producer of the podcast and our fun time, Russ. We'll leave it at that.
The good thing, though, the good thing about a leader and a follower is, though, that if it comes down to it and you're stranded on the deserted island, the follower gets to be the man. The leader is getting it from behind. See what I'm saying?
Jason, you interpreting all this?
Oh yeah. He's just saying that he's the taker and you're the giver. That's all good.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Picture,
it's opposite.
catch.
Yeah, well, the leader's in front of you. See, the leader.
I know, Russ. We get it. We get it. What's been the one most insane thing that's happened during one of these zombie walks?
Well, I started attending.
Give us a TMZ story.
Zombie Tack a couple of years ago, probably about 7 or 8 years ago. I'll be honest with you, the security there is pretty tight. So, as far as that goes, I'd say the biggest spectacle that it's kind of funny that comes up every year, and this is from people on Facebook. They're always asking if the protesters are going to be there every year, because there's a couple of guys, that are protesters out there, and
For real?
That always seems. Oh yeah. There's in fact, our security already has a barricade, an area set up just for the protesters. So
wait a minute, what are they protesting?
There.
What are they
The
protesting?
zombie walk. The zombie
It's
walk.
the God Squad, Kevin.
Yeah.
Is it the God? Is it religious fanatics? Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh.
And then I think they had an incident a couple of years ago with one of the particular guys, because he's there every year, and they called the SWAT in and everything. It was kind of crazy, but I wasn't there for the event. I just kind of hearsay on it, but that's always something we kind of keep a good pulse on, because the big focus on this is you got that many people with safety and making sure everybody comes and has a good time and then gets home safe. So that's the top priority.
Are those the same
Kevin?
people that? Go ahead, Russ.
No, so you know what? I've always wanted to get a 2x2 stick about 10 foot long and some homemade poster board, and use some, burning stuff and some, red, white, and blue letters like the God Squad always does for their protest signs, and make a sign and stand right next to them and, act real dumb and say, and have my sign say, "I know we look like douchebags, and we don't really believe any of this stuff." Something like that. And hold that sign right next to theirs, so it's indistinguishable from what they're talking about. And so, it's kind of like trolling them, right? But pretending like you're protesting.
That's pretty solid.
Now, Jason is the whole devil thing. I know you're into the business part of it, but is there something more to this? Is there some pentagram, or a red? Your basement wall is red. There's a pentagram on your floor. Do you have conversations with Dad on a nightly basis?
No, that's only after I take my medication. But no, no, not at all. It's
Me too, yeah.
it was a concept that I came up with years ago, and the logo itself. My brother actually runs all the web design, and he actually hand drew it, designed it based on a prop. But it was kind of a good thing to come up with. The devil keeps all these evil souls. So that way, it gave us a lot of leeway on what kind of characters we can have in the haunted attraction, or whether it's a movie theme or traditional, haunt related stuff. But no, it's I do get that a lot. I get a lot of the different cults try to follow me on Facebook and try to ask me all these questions. I'm like, man, I was raised as strict Southern Baptist, but that's part of the reason why I'm obsessed with Halloween. So yeah,
I have an idea. What if we get you, Jason? For the God Squad people who are protesting, somehow, some way, there's got to be a way to pull this off. You walk up to them and introduce yourself as the owner, and then in a whim, your voice changes to some demonic voice, and your eyes start to glow, and you say, "Get out."
Yeah, that would be good. Or I'd probably just send the devil over there because he can just say, "Hey,
exactly.
You guys kicked me out how many years ago?" So it's all good.
Yeah, how many years ago, Russ? You know that story.
Well, really only about 6,000 years ago, but as we all know, the world is, billions of years old. The universe is hundreds of billions of years old. And how I feel about the 6,000 years story.
I know. It's good stuff. I'm going to go. I have not been. I think I'm going to pull this off and get there for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
What's the
spectacle, man.
Now, as far as the stretch, you actually do have a stretch of Barstown Road blocked off. Is that my understanding?
Yeah, well, it starts the rolling barricade actually starts at 7:30 at Mid-City Mall. Everybody culminates there anyways. So that gets blocked off at 7:30. But at 5 o'clock from Grinstead to Highland Avenue, the party area is completely blocked off all the way till 12:30 night. So that's what we have. I mean, it's a block party is what it is. It's a vendor party area. But, we get it is an all-age event, and we have a lot of kids show up, a lot of dogs show up, animals show up in costumes, So
you got to sacrifice something. Yeah, we got
to keep the event going. So that all, most of the families and stuff come for the initial walk, and then around 10:30, 11, then it gets kind of into the late night crowd. So it's there's something there for everybody.
Very cool. Well, Russ, your 5-year-old daughter, I don't think she's not ready for this, Russ, is she? Could she handle something like this?
She may be because she's, as you well know, not been indoctrinated with any kind of Iron Age religion. And she lost a tooth about a week and a half ago. And no kidding, with no coaching from us, we've tried to, we've kept the Santa Claus thing alive, Easter Bunny and all this. And but she looked at me and her mom. She said, "Is the tooth fairy real?" And we're like, she watches Monster High, and we tell her, vampires, werewolves, they're not real, all this stuff. So we tell her that. She goes, "Is the tooth fairy real?" And me and her mom just kind of looked at each other, and she said, and Mallory said, "Well, what do you think?" She goes, "I don't think so." So at 5, she's already a skeptic. I couldn't be prouder.
She's already a buzzkill, right, Russ?
Absolutely, yeah. She would listen to your Friday Night Ghost show and be like, "That's ridiculous."
Yeah, for the record, Jason, I do a Friday night paranormal theme podcast, and it's legit.
Oh, very cool, man.
Russ. Yeah, I have people on
Very
from
cool.
Ancient Aliens and George Newry, coast to coast. I mean, it's Russ.
Well, hell,
Just
you've been busy this year with all the musicians passing away, man. You probably got a nice little band there with Bowie and Lemmy. I mean, hell.
Yeah.
Everybody, he has every now and then he has people from the local, mental hospital call in.
Really? That's great.
No, shut
as
up.
Guests. As guests.
Send them our way. We're always looking. Send them our way. We're always looking for new actors. They make the best ones.
Exactly. See, yeah, Russ. See, there you go. You just opened up a whole new avenue for Jason.
Uh-oh. That leads to the next serious question. Are there background checks on these actors? Because you might get somebody in a leather mask.
Don't have him have to say anything like that.
You mean Buffalo Bill? Oh yeah, we have Buffalo Bill down there. No, I'm just kidding. No, we do. We do. Yeah, we do. We're very stringent on our safety. That's just a pet peeve of mine. I make sure that the patrons are safe, and I make sure my actors are safe, because the patrons can get unruly and drunk and everything else, and so we got to take care of our folks down there.
Yeah, you don't want some whack job from Texas said, "Hey, I brought my home chainsaw for tonight."
Yeah. No, that doesn't work.
Yeah, we're actually gonna pull someone's heart out tonight.
Cadaver.
Or make it stop one,
Or make it stop, yeah. Very cool. All right, Jason, share with us all of your social media so that people can connect with you guys prior to the weekend, and how they can get all the good information and what to look forward to.
Sure, man. Obviously LouisvilleZombieWalk.com is a haven for all the entertainment and everything going on as far as activities. Facebook is a huge part of the Zombie Walk, because it's interesting. Of the pages that I manage, that and the Devil's Attic, all of the folks on Zombie Walk are all organic. So there's a genuine interest in it. So that's a good place to go. We do have a Twitter account with the Devil's Attic, and we're starting one for Louisville Zombie Walk. But primarily those two, the website and Facebook, are the places to go.
Very cool. Good stuff, man.
Or your local Ouija board.
Yeah, or your local Ouija board.
What's wrong with that, Russ?
I mean, if you're the guy pushing the thing, there's a lot wrong with it. That's just unethical and disingenuous.
As you could tell, Jason, who's the the one party pooper in every party. I think you've come to the conclusion on who that is on this show.
You got to have the good cop, bad cop, right? Makes a good
Yeah, Kevin, I wouldn't call you a party pooper, Kevin. I mean, that's a little rough.
Yeah. All right, Jason came on and killed it. That's the event's coming up this Saturday at 8:29. The Louisville Zombie Walk. He is also the owner of the Devil's Attic. Good stuff, man. Let's stay in touch. I'll follow up with you whether I do get to make it or after the fact. I want to hear all the good stories and how it all played out for you. But congrats
awesome,
and best of luck.
If you're down there, come flag me down. I'm usually running around the party zone under the black and white tent, so I'll holler at you.
Gotcha, brother. Thanks for coming on with us, man. Again, good luck, and let's scare a bunch of people this weekend.
All right, man. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, take care, bro. That's a cool segment, Russ. We had actually in two different kind of topics. Jessica came on, and it was good information. We had a good time. That was really the first time I've kind of ever talked to like a DJ and got the DJ feel of things. And then Jason comes on and he's got a huge event. This is a huge event for him this weekend.
I lost my saline solution to take my contacts out, so I was kind of digging around under my sink for that, and I didn't want you to hear the ruffling or the rustling.
That's all right.
Russell was rustling.
Russell love muscle. You know, that expression came up today. I won't say how or why, but that expression did come up. The
Gotcha.
love muscle. Let's see what else is going on. Tell us what's on your mind. Get something out of your system so I can get something out of my system.
What's mostly on my mind right now, I mean, we've kind of covered the Trumpster. We've kind of covered the whole election, politics thing. That's getting old. I think people are bored and tired of that. What is on my mind? I'll tell you what's on my mind. Let's go back to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve has to be the most corrupt organization on planet Earth, and they're the most secretive. So they either do one of two things to be so secretive and be so under the radar. They either pay people to not expose what's going on there, or they just eliminate them. I'm willing to take the chance that they pay people and they hear this podcast and they send me a check to keep my mouth shut about the absolute scam it is for a privately held company to control all the money in the United States and the value of that money. And the dollar, the U.S. dollar, pretty much sets the standard for the rest of the world. So I mean, we got a group of 14 bankers that started on a secret island off the coast of like North Carolina or South Carolina or something that basically, sets the money rules for the entire world. And that's just amazing. So if I disappear, Kevin, you'll know that they don't pay people off. If I'm driving a Ferrari in the next couple months, you'll know that they do pay people off.
Exactly. It seems like I'm kind of a downer for news tonight, but have you been following the recent rape allegation charges against white athletes at these college schools that seem to have gotten off, not literally, well, literally as far as the crime goes, but there's another one where, there was a big one out at Stanford where, the kid assaulted, raped a female. The father made some plea to the judge, how can you don't let 20 minutes of his bad decision ruin 20 years of his life, and he got basically probation out of it. Well, here's another one where a judge squashes a rape charge, and the response for the defense attorney was that he's asking the judge to do it so that he is able to enjoy a college experience. And again, the situation is that clearly in this case, this dude assaulted 2 chicks in one night. He's known around the school as David the Rapist. But somehow, some way, these judges are taking into consideration that these 17, 18, 19-year-old kids are just making some mistakes. Why would I put a kid? Do I really want to put a kid in jail for 2 years or so that could impact the rest of his life? And, I'm a father of a daughter. You're a father of a daughter. I really don't think that's going to fly with me if I was put in that situation. And I'm going to call it for what it is. A black dude's going to jail. Always. Unless he is the star player on the team.
Yeah, that does have some rings, probably statistically true. As far as what I don't know, the particulars, but I know in these, higher profile cases, they're kind of like outliers, I think, probably. But not to say that they're outliers. I'm not saying that there isn't a systematic problem. What I'm saying is that in a lot of these instances that they're using in the background data, there's a lot of bad actors out there that are committing stuff to do and stuff like this, but there's also some bad actors on the other side that are fabricating. I actually saw several years ago, probably 15, 16 years ago, I saw like one of these Dateline NBCs where a kid at like UC Berkeley, I believe it was, he was in his fraternity studying for like a chemistry test or something in his room. Drunk girl walks into his room, and I don't know if they knew each other previously or not, but they start, she like comes on to him, they start making out, they end up having sex that night. They wake up the next morning, exchange numbers, and then, not too many days in the near future, she goes and decides to claim that she was raped. And most of these facts are undisputed. She just said that she was in no state of mind to consent to sex. That's why they have all those crazy college rules in California now, where you have to, every step of the way, you can't hook up with a girl, make out, and end up having sex without any communication. There must be positive. You can't just say not saying no doesn't mean yes. So if things are just happening organically and you're and this is just on college campuses, you're making out, things are starting to happen. It's the guys, apparently, not the girl, but the guy's responsibility to make sure, they get permission every step of the way, which brought me to the question. They kind of left out gay couples in that whole rape scenario, because whose responsibility is it in a gay couple? Is it the more masculine man? Is it the top? Is it whose responsibility is it in the female couple? The one that, likes to play softball better? I mean, which one has to get the consent there in the gay couples? Or are they just leaving the gay couples out and saying there is no gay rape? I doubt that's true. So what's the deal, Kev?
Yeah, I don't know. To me, clearly, race plays a factor. Race and your elite status on the team. But
because let me ask you this: if race plays a factor, what happens to the Asian guy? Does he get off, or does he go to jail?
He probably both. He gets off and goes to jail. Then goes to jail.
It could be a little correlated to penis size, or stereotype penis size. They're assuming that the white guy isn't as big as the black guy, so are they assuming maybe the Asian guy doesn't even have a crowd? They're like, nah, he's good, let him go.
What do you think, Russ? Knowing me?
No, obviously. Well, you're only half Asian, so you got
Yeah. Okay.
You might be Asian from the waist up.
I want you to check this article out. There was a mother and son that reunited. The story was this mother gave up her son when she was 16. She's 16, pregnant, gave her son up. The two reconnected on Facebook when he was 19, which means she's 35, and met in person around Christmas, this past Christmas. Soon, he's living with her, and soon after that, they become lovers. They are, yes, they're blood, but they wanted to. This is a situation where a mother and son, this couple, is fighting the law to teach the world about genetic sexual attraction. Take on that, buddy.
I think there's a term.
No, this is not National Enquirer either. This is
No,
legit.
I'm saying
I pulled.
there's a term for genetic sexual attraction in our culture. It's called incest. So,
Yeah.
and
Now,
it's that way.
But in their defense, for 19 years she hadn't seen him. So, even after 19 years, do you still look at him as son? Do you still?
Well,
I don't know. I don't actually. I'm
right?
being serious. I don't know. I don't know how I.
Once you find out, I mean, it's
you would
kind of
think
your duty to be repulsed by that.
you would. Yeah, I would probably gag, me personally. It just wouldn't, but evidently. But then, like I said, our typical day is, a 9 to 5, 9 to 6 work day. Then you got people like this, mother and son, that are fighting the law so they can become lovers and or consummate their love for each other in the best way possible.
They could have a whole litter of special needs kids.
Something like that. Yep. Oh, wow. I'm going to throw this out here. Believe it or not, do you know I hate social media? I absolutely hate it. Now, granted, we use it to promote our show. You use it, I'll say, I know you use it to correspond with groups, the atheist groups, and I'll correspond with people every now and then. I'll post my kids' stuff. But one thing I do not do on social media, I do not post, and as a guy, as a chick, I'm okay with it. A chick posting selfies and, using these filters to change the way they look, that's just a chick being a chick. But when dudes do it, I'm thinking, man, I think your man card needs to be checked out. And then when the dudes are posting pictures of their cats, posting pictures of their dinners, their lunch, everything they're eating, that's when their man card needs to be revoked. I don't get that. To me, that's the one thing I hate about social media, is that people seem to give a shit on what they're doing. People would think others give a shit on half, on the shit they're doing. I don't want to see people's meals. I don't care to see that. And then my daughter, when I'm having this conversation with her, is like, well, then why are you on there, Dad? That's just the way it is. And she's right. Why I'm on there? I'm on there really primarily anymore to promote our shows and promote my kids. If that, just show kids. But, I don't take selfies. I don't take pictures of what I eat. I don't take pictures of my dog. I don't take pictures of you, Russ, doing things for me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you're not a big fan of social media, right?
No, the reason I'm on Facebook was first to share pictures of my little girl with my mom, so she could see them, instantly or whatever. And then I got, involved in some of a lot of the trading groups. I mean, little bourbon trading, little beer trading, little smack talking in some of the other groups. So it's just, I get on there kind of to socialize and kind of, a little bit of networking with people and all that. But yeah, no, I hate the fake part of it. I hate the drama. The drama is just, I mean, just retarded. I mean, it's the dumbing down of America by the lowest common denominator of human nature, which is just needing some kind of drama. Jerry Springer.
And one of those ways is that for the jackass who feels like they've got to let the world know that something is going on and they need all your prayers, every prayer, because God answers prayers. God's gonna, I don't know if, I just don't buy the fact that God's in tune with Facebook. And, and then, if God's gonna answer prayers, would he probably answer the prayers of a child who is praying for help because he's being sodomized or abused, and not somebody on Facebook whose father is going in for I don't know, some type of surgery. I'm just, again, that shit blows me away. And
yeah, it's Sam Harris called it the epitome of narcissism. To think
it is.
There is, some sky daddy that is answering your prayers to get a low interest loan on your car, and not answering the thousands of prayers or millions of prayers that go out every day for people's children that are suffering in some way, or they got swept up by
Exactly.
a tsunami or something like that. So yeah, that's the epitome of narcissism. But now people get around that. There's two things. They say, well, you got the wrong religion, which people love to do. So you're not faithful in it, or you got the wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Or who can understand the mysterious workings of God? And the thing about that argument is that when they say who can understand it, it's the same rationale that they use the opposite way to establish that he's good in the first place. Say, oh, look what he's done. He's done this, he's done that, and he's done this. But then when you say, hey, well, what about this over here that he did? Well, you can't understand that. Well, that's the only way you do understand. I mean, what are you talking about? So it's like a whole.
He's working in mysterious. He's working in mysterious ways. They're not supposed to understand that.
Yeah, but Christopher Hitchens called that playing tennis without the net. So it's basically you're creating this game that you're playing with the rules that you lay out, but then when you point out the flaw, you change the rules. Well, every different flaw you point out in the game, you say, okay, well, I'll change that rule too. It's just a revolving door of excuses.
I agree. Oh, religion. Anyway.
That's me in the corner. Losing my religion.
I guess that's the only. Oh, here's one more thing. I don't. This is another thing that I just don't understand. There is, now you've heard this statistic of, evidently there are 22 military veterans who take their lives every day. Did you hear about that?
I did not.
Yeah, evidently there's this thing called the 22 push-up challenge, and what it's aimed at is that 22 vets will take their lives every day. We lose 22 military veterans. So somebody came up with this nonsense idea of a 22 push-up challenge to keep the process in mind, and keep the story or the situation on the front, that people, you name somebody to do it and they'll have to do 22 push-ups to what was it? The 22 push-up challenge fills your feed with equal parts physical exertion and military empowerment. And for these little gimmicks, I don't understand. Instead of there's 22 veterans if there's 22 veterans dying every day, how is a push-up challenge going to help them?
Well, Kevin, this will be an area where one of the seldom areas where I'll have to disagree with your premise a little bit, because it's all any of that's doing. It isn't the individual acts that are doing anything. It's raising awareness. Because the idea is if you raise awareness, then people with the veterans and their family will, know that's something, and they'll talk to them and ask them questions and get them to open up a little bit and maybe get them some help or something like that. So
I get that. But why is it push up? Why can't they? Why if we have an issue, if you are suffering, if you Russ are suffering, I'm not going to go drop and do 20 some push-ups to get the attention that you're suffering. I want to go straight to find out who can help you. I don't get it.
The whole thing is we're talking about this right now because it's a meme and it's gone viral or whatever. Not everybody knows that like you know that, and not everybody knows that like I know that. And even if they would know it as soon as they heard it, of course, the whole point of doing that is to get people to do what you're saying and go out and do more, to go out just to get them to talk about it so that they can have that conversation, and it will, spread to where, the people in, and the next city that have a podcast are talking about it like we are right now. And people will hear that and they might Google it and see what it's about. And it's not even about accepting the thing or not. It's just about something that gets a buzz to put it in people's minds. It's like advertising. You see a cheeseburger and a large fries and a Coke on TV. You think, man, I'd like to have some McDonald's right now. And it just gets everybody thinking about it. And then some percentage of those people thinking about it will act on it. That's the whole point.
Okay. If you say so. All right. Let's see. Anything else? Serious question here, Russ. Was it North Korea now having access to? We heard that right?
Yeah.
Will we have an atomic bomb, a war, or an event that will have the use of the atomic bomb in the next 10 years?
I said, well, he said, yeah, you would sure hope not, but it just depends on, how crazy and desperate the crackpots that have any control over that weapon. I don't think anybody will launch an offensive, like we did with Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But that was a response. It wasn't an I guess you could call it an offensive because, unless they thought they were defending, they wanted to just take them out before they came, to California or something like that, which was, they would have plenty of warning or whatever. But it's nuclear versus conventional war, and I think most people are going to stick with conventional war just because of the, kind of the way most governments work. But if you get Pakistan or North Korea, or China felt threatened from North Korea or something, it could definitely happen. There are scenarios where it could very realistically happen, but you hope that cooler heads prevail.
Well said. Well said. Russ.
Mm-hmm.
With the shit that's going on with Hillary and the Donald, one of them coming into office, I have a feeling. I used to think that I would be scared for my kids or my grandkids to possibly be subjected to that type of violence in the world where some country would detonate an atomic bomb. I'm not so sure that I'll be gone. I think I might still be around to see this.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Very possible.
Very. Anyways. Okay. I guess 2 good segments. We got you chatting up on some things. That's always fun. What else?
Well, just on
I
the
do have to
sidebar.
throw this out. One more thing.
Go ahead.
Do you remember seeing the kid who was, it made the news like on CNN when his home got bombed. They pulled him out from the wreckage and they put him into the ambulance, and there was just this image of a kid who wasn't in tears or anything. He looked like he was in shock. And did you see that image?
No, I didn't. I could see that one.
Well, to me, that was clearly something that the media potentially would have staged, because when they pulled this kid out of the rubble of the bombed building, he's the 5-year-old. You have to go to CNN and look this up. They carry him to the back of the ambulance, and they just put him there. And what they did afterwards was kind of questionable to me. The guy puts him in the very back and then leaves him alone. He's by himself. There's blood on him. There's dirt on him. He's not crying. He's clearly in shock. But no one's tending to him. And all it was like he got put in the back of the ambulance so that the cameras could just focus on him. And he became this, look it up, Russ. It's the kid who's in Syria. He's known as the kid in Syria that just, his image, that will be the image forever, where he's just no expression, no tears again, bloody face. But it's like almost the media, they propped him up in the back so the media could just zoom in on him, and that becomes the hot topic, the event that the media can run with. If I'm a guy and I took a child in the back and I see him, he's got blood and everything, I'm going to try to help him. And I guess my point was, and this is coming from our Friday show where we were talking conspiracies, and we talked this, and the more I thought about it, I am starting to see how the media can perpetrate a situation to their benefit for ratings. It's always not what it seems to be.
Yeah. A lot of.
What are you drinking?
A lot of. I'm not drinking anything. A lot of manipulation now. There's people are definitely. It's all about the money, man. If they think it'll make them money, they'll do it.
At no time were any animals or people hurt during this presentation of Shooting from the Lip.
This coming weekend at the county line, Friday, August 26th, Redneck Noize will be making an appearance. Saturday, August 27th, Subourbon Shooters will be rocking the house. Again, the county line, 1891 Old Preston Highway in Hillview. Chris Lucien, your manager, bartender at the line. Bourbon, beers, billiards, $2 ice cold domestics, $3 Jim Beam maple, honey, and fire.